What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. And today we're going to be reviewing SeaWorld from our most recent trip, weekend before last. We took a trip to SeaWorld and located in San Antonio, Texas, which is about an hour and a half south of Austin, Texas. We're going to do a complete breakdown of the full park review, all the pros, cons, tips that you should and shouldn't do while you're at the park. So without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, one of the first things that SeaWorld has to offer, especially if you have small children or just any children at all, period, is the shows. There is a lot of different shows, a lot of various shows, depending on what you and your kids might like, if you have them. If you don't have them, then I still think the shows are worth checking out. Um, we went over spring break, which is a completely insane time of the year to go to a theme park. Normally, we take a trip to like over Texas for a day or so, but we decided to take a full trip because, oh, well, what's the fun in not doing anything, right? So that's what we did. We did to SeaWorld and Fiesta and Six Flags Over Texas all in one weekend. Um, the Our favorite show to go to is the Orca Encounter. For anyone who doesn't know what that is the killer whale show. We've I've been taking my son Asher to that show since hell he was a baby since he was 7, 8 months old. He loves that show. He loves the music. He loves the whales. Um, I feel like they do a really great job. Although this time we didn't get to see it because they were at like max capacity. Like I'm saying, every seat was full. People were standing outside watching the show. It was completely insane. Like I had never seen that place that packed. So we was like, well, we're not going to watch the show from standing up outside when we can't see anything. It's just kind of pointless. So we was like, hey, let's go to Ocean Discovery, which is like different various dolphins and beluga whales show there. It's located over there, like you're going towards right right by the kid area, and then you kind of hang a left, and it'll be right there. If you go there around Christmas time, it's right over there by where all those the magical Christmas tree is, the one that does the projections and stuff. It's right over there next to it. You can't miss it. It'll say Ocean Discovery. Just follow the crowd of people. If you go around at times and it's a busy time of the year, they'll all be going to the same place. We got there about 15 or 20 minutes early, and then about 15 or 20 minutes after we got there, it was full to max capacity. So that's how that's how crazy it was on that day. We actually ended up leaving the park early after we rode everything and did everything because it was just too crowded to do everything. And we had the quick queue, which is kind of a skip the line thing. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But they also have Sea Lion High, which is a sea lion show, which is over there at the beginning and entrance of the park. Um, I haven't actually seen that, but one of my friends has seen it. It says really cool. It's kind of a mediocre show. But over there next to the sea lion show, they have the sea lion viewing where you can feed the different sea lions. I think it's like $5 for a bucket of like, well, not a bucket, like a tray of 4 or 5 of these little fish that you can throw out there. Asher loves doing that because it's not like feeding the whales when he was smaller. He couldn't throw it over the thing. He could just toss it in there. And then you get to watch him fight over it. It's pretty cool. Um, and they do have the Sesame Street shows there that are coming in around where you can go and meet the different characters. If it's not crazy busy like it was at spring break, they usually show up in the photo booth at the tail end of the kid area right there by Rosetta's. I'm probably not saying it right, but it's that pizza buffet place right there on the corner. And there'll be a photo booth like if you're leaving Rosetta's coming around the corner and you were going into the kid area, there'd be a photo booth right there to the right. So you can't miss it because you'll see a line and a character sitting right there. A lot of times it's like Grover, Elmo, and maybe a couple other characters that I do not know the names to that I'm not going to butcher. But those are, I feel like are some really good things, to check out as far as shows and everything else goes like that. If you're the type of person that goes to SeaWorld and you're just going because you want to ride roller coasters, either because you're trying to get credits or you just want to have a good time and ride a bunch of stuff. Um, I would definitely, if it's a busy day, I would kind of check and see. If it's on a Saturday in the middle of the summer, you can pretty much guarantee that it's probably going to be busy on that day. If you don't want to wait in like this insane line, or just you don't want to wait in lines at all, I would recommend getting a quick queue. Every single time at SeaWorld, when we've gotten a quick queue, our wait time has been maybe a couple of minutes. Nothing really too crazy. Not like at Six Flags when you have the Flash Pass line. You sometimes have a line at the Flash Pass line. But at SeaWorld, I don't know if a lot of people don't know, or they just don't want to spend the extra money for it. Because you can get the quick queue for a day. I think during spring break it was like $40 for one day, and that was unlimited for all the rides and everything. And I think you can get it with reserved seating for like an extra $5. So you're looking at $45 for reserved seating and unlimited skip lines all day long. Really not a bad deal. But on times where it's not as busy as spring break, like in the summertime, it's usually only about $13 or $14. Um, so being able to skip the line in front of everyone when a ride like Texas Stingray, which has got a really long line all the time because it's a wooden coaster, it's probably one of the premier coasters in the park. It's probably best to just invest a little $15, $20 in it and just go ahead and move on. You can skip the line. You can, if you were to have the skip the line, you can use the skip the line twice, maybe even three times. Compared to if you had waited in line, you'd have been able to ride the ride at least twice, maybe even three times before if you would have been in the line and made it to the front. So trust me, the quick queue is definitely worth it at SeaWorld. It is definitely, it's cheap. It's compared to Six Flags, it's hella cheap because you go to Six Flags and you try to buy like the top tier Flash Pass on busy days, it's like $180 for one day. So trust me, it's always best if you want to ride a bunch of stuff, then do that. They also have it for a few of the kid rides, like the kiddie coaster, and I think a couple of the other rides there. I really never been a fan of wanting to get it for the kid rides. Because what we do when we go to SeaWorld is the first thing we do with Asher is we go to the kid area. We get there right when they open. Like as soon as rope drop is there, we're there. And the first place we go to the kid area. And we let the kid ride as much as he wants until the crowds start pouring in and the lines get too long. And and even after that, we let them play in the play area for so long. And then right around the corner from there, there's another playground. We let them play on it. We let them wear themselves out. And then when it's getting really close to lunchtime or, nap time or something, that's when we'll kind of go ride our own thing. So we let him have as much fun as he can when we first get there. But now that we've talked about quick queue and the reserved seating and stuff, let's talk about the ride selections. There are 5 different roller coasters. Well, actually, 4.5. I don't consider Journey to Atlantis to be a roller coaster. I consider it to be a water ride. Um, I know a lot of people are arguing about whether flumes and these types of shuttle coasters should be considered roller coasters or not. I don't know, but there's 5 rides there. You've got, as soon as you walk in, you'll see the big purple and yellow ride. It's called Steel Eel. Really, really great ride. If you're scared of heights, this is definitely the ride for you because it's really not all that high once you get up there. Everything that goes up must come down. No worries. I can assure you, you will get off the ride the same way you got on. You may be a little freaked out and adrenaline may be going, but you'll still get off the ride. All right, so no worries. Steel Eel is actually a really good starting coaster. For a lot of new people that are new to roller coasters. It's really not too crazy. It doesn't have any insane elements in the ride. If you ride the ride in the back and you're skinny like me, you're probably going to walk off the ride and you'll be like, I'm never riding this thing in the back again, because you get a lot of floater air time on this ride. And so when you go over these camel hills, you come out of your seat, and then when you're in the back seat, gravity kind of pushes you down really, really hard. So it kind of really hurts your buns. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I never ride it in the back. But if you ride it in the front, then you'll get a lot of that floater air time. Like when you go over the camel hills, you will stay in the air until you go over the next camel hill. Then you're in the air. You're in the air for at least a good 25-30% of the entire ride. You're in the floater air time. You're just stuck in the air. So it's definitely a great ride in the front. It's a mediocre ride in the middle, but it's a really, really bad ride sitting in the back seat. It hurts. Trust me. If you don't believe me, when you go next, ride it in the back, and you'll see what I mean. If we move on along, we go down. We got Wave Breaker, the Rescue Coaster. It is kind of like a family coaster. Really nothing insane about this coaster. It's a double launch coaster. Nothing really too crazy. It's not like Mr. Freeze or Poltergeist or anything like that. It's kind of a little bit on the slower side when it comes to those types of rides. It's not intense whatsoever. I took one of my friends that had never ridden a roller coaster before in her life, and that was the first roller coaster she got on, and she had a blast. So that should tell you right there, even though it does go a little bit on the high side, maybe getting up to about 80 to 96 feet in the air, it's really nothing too crazy and nothing really to be intimidated by. It's a really fun ride and definitely something worth checking out, especially if you have these younger children as well. So, moving along, we have the next ride is a B&M clone, which is kind of like Batman the Ride clone. It is called Great White. Just about every theme park in the entire country has one of these. It is a B&M clone. It's great. It's nothing too crazy. It's a floorless coaster. So if you've been to any Six Flags park ever across the country, with the exception of maybe Frontier City, I think just about every one of these parks has one of these rides. Um, like I said, it's nothing too crazy. It's the exact same as Batman the Ride at Six Flags Over Texas or Goliath at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. It's exactly the same ride. It's just a different theming and different color scheme. That's pretty much it. So if you've ridden Batman the Ride and you see this thing, you'll probably recognize it because it looks exactly the same, just a different color. If you haven't rode Batman the Ride and you're going to be going to try it out, I would definitely recommend giving this thing a try. It's really fun. I really enjoy this ride a little bit more than I do Goliath at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, mainly because of the layout. It goes into a layout and it kind of gives you like a little scenic view, and you can also see the Whitewater Rapids ride right there next to it as well. So I like it, and I think the scenic route on the ride is really, really cool, and it really sets it apart from everything else. All right, so we're going to move on to number 4, and we're going to go on to Journey to Atlantis. Journey to Atlantis is a water ride. In the summertime, this ride's lines, as you can probably figure, will get insanely long. It will get about as long as the Whitewater Rapids ride, which is not considered a roller coaster, but it's just like Whitewater Rapids is just like Roaring Rapids at Over Texas, or like the Gully Washer at Fiesta Texas. Just a different outlook. Journey to Atlantis is pretty cool. You go straight up, then it does a 180-degree turn, drops you off backwards, does another 180-degree turn, and you take a drop and a big splash at the end. If you're one of those types of people that really don't like to get wet in the summer, I don't know. There are people that are like that. I'm not saying it, and you're one of these, this probably is just the ride for you, because if you sit in the middle part of the train, you're unlikely to get wet, and if you do, it's going to be a little bit. If you really are just hot and you want to cool off, then sit in the front or the back. The front usually gets drenched. In the back, we get moderately wet, not as much. But if you really just want to get drenched, soaking wet, just sit in the front. If you just want to kind of chill and enjoy the ride, sit in the middle. You'll get a little bit wet, but nothing really too crazy. And the final ride is Texas Stingray. This is the premier roller coaster in the park. It is a wooden coaster. I love this thing. This thing, when it gets going, like if you ride this thing in the middle towards the end of the day, especially in the summertime, man, once this thing gets going, this thing will frickin' haul. And it will make those turns, and it will give you ejector air time on these turns, and it just moves really, really fast through the elements. Each one of these rides gives you an opportunity to get your pictures made, with the exception of Great White. But I love this ride because of the elements. It moves through the elements so fast, and it's a little bit on the rough side, but it's not really rough on the fact that it's uncomfortable. There is no seatbelt on this ride. It's just strictly lap bar, but it does hold under the rule of being under 100 feet tall to be able to adhere to that. So no worries there. Really fun ride. First drop is very unique. You go up the lift hill, then you make a half right bank turn, and you go down the first drop that way. And then that's when they snap your picture. So make sure to put your fingers up and smile for the camera. Great ride. Always love this ride. I have to ride this thing every single time I go because it's just so much fun. That one, and I think I ride Steel Eel. Only the reason I ride Steel Eel when I go is because usually that side of the park is open before the other side of the park is open. So that's why we usually do kid stuff. And if the kid's not there with me when I go, then we'll just bin ride Steel Eel because nobody wants to ride it because everybody's in the kid area. So that's just something there. Food wise, SeaWorld has a lot of good food. Like right now, they have a food festival going on right now during the spring, so it works out really great. But we'd like to check out the all-you-can-eat buffet right there outside of the kid area. I will warn you about this place. I had said something previously about this. The food at this restaurant is really not all that great. Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. It's really not all that great, but you can eat as much as you want. So, but it's only like I think with our discount, I think we paid like $15 a person. For me, my friend, and both boys, it was like $32. But the two boys ate for free because they were 2 years old. So we paid like $32 for two adults, and all you can eat pizza, salad, all kinds of stuff. They have dessert pizza there and stuff too, cheese sticks, a whole bunch of stuff. So if you got kids that just absolutely love pizza, like mine, this is definitely a great place for them because even though the pizza's bad, they're not going to care. They're just going to know that it's pizza. And then you can just kind of grit your teeth for it and, like, oh, well, this is what you wanted. It's the sacrifices that parents make for their children. So this is what you do. So it's a really good place to eat. A couple other places I like to eat is kind of like the big restaurant just right across the way from the Orca Encounter. It's like a big barbecue place, and they have like barbecue chicken and beef, and oh man, they got a whole bunch of stuff. Now that place is great. Their food there is amazing. They have like the greatest waffle fries. It is awesome. So seafood. Listen to me. SeaWorld has some great food. If only they had seafood. Yeah, there we go. So that's as far as this, that's all I can say about the food. I mean, the food is great. The drinks there, you can. I think you have to pay for sodas. It's not like most theme parks where you can get like a cup and you don't have to pay for anything. And if there is, then please let me know in the comments so that way I can go invest in one. Because every time I go, I pull out my SeaWorld cup and I just fill it up with water so that way they don't try to charge me however much it costs for a soda. So there is that. I would definitely recommend in the summertime, definitely staying hydrated because it can get kind of hot in the summer, really hot. So definitely keep that in mind. If I had to rank this park, I'd probably rank this thing about an 8 out of 10. The one thing that I can say about this park during spring break weekend was something that really caught me off guard was the way the operations in the parks towards the rides ran. As soon as somebody was sitting down, and it was only a couple of minutes with them checking everybody, and then the ride was going. Everything was running two trains. There wasn't a single thing in the park running one train. Everything was running two trains or more. It was great. But yeah, it's great. 8 out of 10 park. Great operations, great food, great experience. They had a hell of a lot of crowds, so that gets to show that the revenue is up, so that's good. Great job, SeaWorld. 8 out of 10. That's definitely an upgrade from last year. So great job, SeaWorld. Keep up the good work. Thank you guys for watching. And if you like what you see and you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. And if you want to help support the channel even more, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. And thank you guys so much, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.